Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the latest episode of the Writing the Ropes podcast. And boy, do we got a lot to go over. We on the road to WrestleMania. Banger Raw yesterday. I host Trav, here with my co-host Win. We are Writing the Ropes. Come on and tap in.
What's good with it, bro? What's good? Y'all know what it is, bro. We are back. We are back with another episode. We're going to dive into Elimination Chamber results, WrestleMania predictions. And like my boy said, bro, banger Raw last night. We're going to dive into it all. So let's go ahead and start off with Elimination Chamber, bro. That was a big thing that happened over the weekend. So, where do you want to start with that? You want to start with the Vision? You want to start with Randy? You want to start where you want to start?
I mean, the biggest shock is probably Randy winning. Actually, on this podcast here, because obviously for the past few weeks we've been talking about how it's like obvious, like it's Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're hyped. That's your favorite wrestler.
Yeah, bro.
I'm hyped, and I know I kind of like rain on your parade like right away after he won, and that's why I told you before we started airing, I have a theory that I've been since Saturday. What I will tell you right now is it only involves a one-on-one match.
Okay, now you're gonna have to tell me how this goes.
What if this is ultimately Cody Randy?
Oh yeah, but okay. So what's your theory about how to get to it? Because I remember saying that.
Well, it's not the theory. The theory more so is because I told you how, like, right when Randy won, I was like, well, is it going to be a fatal four-way, or how many people are going to be involved in it? But then I thought about it, especially after on the post show when Nick Aldis came out and said that Drew is defending his title on Friday. So it's not really a theory on how we get there. All it is Cody wins the title on Friday.
Yeah. No, so yeah, we talked about that yesterday in text message, bro. Like, we were both in like kind of semi-agreement where it's like it's more likely that it's going to be a multi-man match because it's just because of the fact that you got Jacob, and then from the outside, if you really want to, you can throw in Sammy. But I mean, I think if they do one-on-one Randy and Cody, it's probably a better main event. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a bigger money main event, one, and then that we also in turn are gonna get a one-on-one with Jacob and Drew.
Okay.
Like, I can see on Friday Jacob's Drew.
Gonna screw Drew. Yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't be mad at that either,
And I just kept thinking, and I'm like, the multi-man match, yes, it makes sense, but what if they're finally trying to give us Cody Randy? Especially with the story that was told to end the Elimination Chamber, where you had Drew come in. Obviously the big part of the Elimination Chamber is we got Seth Rollins revealed as everyone guessed it was the Masked Man. But then after, in all that chaos, it left the chamber open for and screw Cody. So he was in there trying to beat Cody, and you had Randy like, nah, I'm not gonna, get your ass out of here, pretty much. And they had to kind of like neutralize Drew. But then right after Cody delivered the Crossroads to Drew, you had literally, it was like just one motion, Crossroads to Drew, Cody pops up, RKO. Like, it showed Randy is getting that killer in that we all know that Randy has inside of him back again. So
the only problem I have with, I don't know, bro. Like, I want to see that happen with Randy as far as like him turning that corner, but then at the same time, doesn't it feel kind of repetitive of what we just saw with Cena and Cody? Because if you have Randy do a turn, like,
I mean, I'm saying he's going to start showing, like, he's going to start remembering like the Randy that got 14 WWE championships.
So
that's taking the whole story has take advantage of the opportunity that's presented in front of him. And what did he do in Elimination Chamber? before the whole story was Randy was hesitant to hit Cody. He wanted, since him and Cody are cool, he kind of wanted to do like respectful thing with it. Like he didn't want to like take it. Like that was a story that they kind of like, he had him lined up for the punt. I can't exactly remember where it is or when it was, but it was some time ago. He lined him up for not even, I don't even think that was Cody. I'm sorry. But he was lining people up, wouldn't take advantage of it. Not saying that he's gonna really Cody, but I'm gonna start realizing what got him them first 4 WWE championships, and he's gonna tap into that. Not necessarily saying he's gonna be a full blown heel and
So my question
turn
with
on
that
Cody.
would be my question would to do, because if and this really depending on if our theory as far as what's going to happen with Sammy is right. Because remember, I pitched the idea that we have Sammy and Aleister Black. It's essentially doing the same thing. So you're going to have Randy have a slow burn, but it's not really a full turn. And Sammy's going to have a slow burn, and they're both trying to essentially do the same thing. If you have Randy take it off of Cody, Sammy's not going to get it.
He's not taking it off. Randy's winning.
Okay. So you think Randy's just going to just
I think that
eventually he's going to get it, I would assume.
he's gonna get 15 eventually. I'm just saying not at WrestleMania.
Will he get it as his character currently is, or you think he's got to go through a
No, he's
character
gonna
shift before he gets it?
he's gonna have to tap more into that old school Randy to get back there. Like I could see him potentially being the one to take it off of, because I told you that, my initial theory was a multi-man match, Cody wins and he's crowned champion again at Mania. But then you have, and this goes hand in hand with the theory of the slow burn with Sammy, where I said if we were going to do this slow burn with Sammy, the person that makes the most sense for him to take it off of is Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Sammy take it off of him, and I could see Randy taking it off of Sammy.
That's so sav. That's so savage. That's so savage.
That falls right into Randy Orton, though.
I mean, I guess it really depends on how they have him do it.
It's not, and I'm not saying Sammy finally gets the world champion and
then it just immediately goes around.
Yeah, I'm not saying like
how
that
they did it
or
with,
nothing like that.
How they did it with Daniel Bryan back in the day, where that man Hunter pedigreed.
Yeah, and not Kevin Owens, fucking Randy came on.
But no, I think it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, I like Randy Cody more as a one-on-one match because they've been teasing it for a while.
Years.
Yeah,
a few years now.
For a minute. So it's just kind of like, when are we gonna get it? If we get it at WrestleMania, cool. Do I wish there was a little bit more of a build? Yeah, I do, because even with 6 weeks left, right, till WrestleMania. I mean, you do have time. I'm not saying that they won't take that time to make it a memorable program if that's the route they choose to go. But I kind of wish it was something that was kind of built towards consistently, instead of wasting all this time with Jacob and Drew and all this. Just let it be Randy and Cody going through like the whole year, like kind of how Drew and Punk had their rivalry. You didn't see them go really after anybody else that whole year. Like, they ain't got to be in each other's face every week, but I would have liked to seen, if Randy's going to go the darker route, let's see more of those seeds being planted earlier on instead of right before WrestleMania.
I agree. But WWE's in the WWE.
And that's why we do what we do. So let's look at what Seth, Seth came back, like you mentioned a minute ago. Him being, we kind of already knew it was going to play back into Seth, but him screwing the Vision, Logan Paul having 3 eliminations. How you feel about all of that?
Well, I told you about the Logan Paul. I think with Logan Paul's role was what Bronson Reed was supposed to do, but obviously not move for move. I think Bronson Reed was supposed to come in and have 3 elimination chambers and look dominant in the elimination chamber. And I meant 3 eliminations. I just realized I said 3 elimination chambers. And I think with him getting hurt on Monday, it was just the easiest thing was to just pretty much keep the match as it was and just change the moves up. So, okay, since Braun's out and Logan's in, just give Logan those 3. And what does that do? It gets more heat on Logan.
Which I know they're trying to do that anyway, but it's kind of tough too because if like you just said, if Brunson was healthy, that would have went to Brunson, and in my opinion, would have made it a little bit more believable, right? Because Brunson's this big monster that can squash multiple people. Logan Paul shouldn't be. I'm sorry to tell you, but he should not be eliminating 3 people. Trick Williams, like 2 other people that were
It was Trick Williams, Javon, and LA Knight.
Yeah. Like he shouldn't be eliminated. Maybe Javon, maybe just because he's new, but
I would say I can see Trick too, for the same reason.
Just because they're rookies. But then LA Knight, they just don't like LA Knight. They don't ever book LA Knight well, so I guess it really don't matter.
But like I told you when he unveiled himself, I'm like, my initial thought was, well, logic tells you that Braun has to be back for Mania 2. Like, especially from what we've seen on Raw. It can't end with Logan and Theory because neither one of them was part of the vision that took out Seth.
Yeah, so he's just going to come back and get revenge on people who joined after.
So, so it's like Logan. Sense. Yeah, like, so especially for that to end the feud between them. Like, you can't end the feud without him at least facing Braun. So my initial thought was, since he's unveiled himself, I told you this on Saturday. I'm like, it's gonna either tell us one or 2 things about WWE. Either they're gonna be smart enough to not bring Seth back unless Braun is the Mania, like, is the end goal for Mania. Or they're pivoting so much that they're gonna give us some bullshit, really. And we're gonna get Seth in like a tag team match, with Logan and Theory.
Either way, the decision or their options outside of having Braun back is underwhelming.
Yeah. So, and like we said, is unless it's leading to Braun coming back for Mania, it was almost better to just keep Seth off of TV until after Mania.
Correct. Because now, like you said, essentially you've written yourself into a corner again, which they I don't know why they continue to do it, but hey, so if Braun is not available, and just like you said, hopefully it was like we have some knowledge of, okay, he's coming back. Hey, we know he's going to be back by X date. All right, cool. Or we have a timetable for his return. All right, cool. We can push it in that direction. We can move in that direction. All right, cool. That's smart. But if you're doing it and you don't know when he's coming back, and on the I guess opposite end of the spectrum, Braun Breaker is the main carrot. But if you didn't have him and you knew he wasn't coming back, at least
you could at least pivot to Bronson.
But now you don't have him, so it's like, if
now it's got to be Braun.
Right. So now it's like you don't have knowledge of neither one of these guys returning, and you bring Seth back. What do you have him do? It could have been a thing of where they just wanted to end the storyline, because it might, to be honest, where it's at, it could, and it's going to be underwhelming again. That's like I said, either way, but it could be a thing where they end it before WrestleMania.
Like, theoretically, it could have ended
at Elimination Chamber.
Not even at on Raw.
Yeah.
He already got his hands on. He already got Heyman.
Yep. He already sent him to the hospital, so he's out of action. You know what I mean? So unless you're gonna bring him back before WrestleMania, what's the point of having Paul Heyman show up?
I think the next time we see, and this would be the most logical answer for that, is when Brock. No, not even Brock. Is when. Well, yeah, probably.
It's got to be with Brock, because Brock did the open challenge.
Yeah. I almost forgot about that last week. And if he's gonna show up for Brock, it's got to be, unless that's what you're gonna have Seth do, is have him answer the fucking open challenge. Like, have if Braun isn't ready to go. So now you had Paul Heyman because, like I said, it's kind of odd to me that he already got his hands on Paul Heyman.
Yeah, right. Paul Heyman's gonna want to get back. He's gonna
Right.
set shit up for
But
that.
if Braun's not ready to go,
I got the beast.
and what does he need to do? And what does he need? What does he got going on at Mania? Like you said, he just put out the open challenge.
I mean, unless they're gonna go with Oba, so it really depends. Like again, like because I want to see, but I think Oba is gonna do a thing with Rusev first.
I think Oba, as much as I was hoping Oba would be, I think he's going to have a WrestleMania segment with
Rusev.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate though, because like we talked about this last week, and I think the week before that, where it's just like, if we're talking about how to build new stars and like the best way to do it, if Brock was down to do it, I mean, obviously if you're gonna pay him, he's got to be willing to put the guys over. But what's the best way to put a new guy over, bro? You have him beat somebody who's damn near unbeatable. You basically did it with Cena, so you can do it with Brock.
Yeah, no, definitely. But with the more that I think about it, I'm thinking now like there might be a possibility that Braun doesn't come back in time, and they pivot to Brock, and because at least obviously it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of the storyline with the Vision, but at least it makes sense because it's like you always know Paul Heyman's got that ace in his pocket.
Well, but you also know they could. I mean, essentially, if they really wanted to, you also know that they could wait until Braun and Brunson are ready and just revisit it next year, or later on in the year, whenever they come back.
But the question then is what does the Vision do and what does Seth Rollins do then? How do they coexist on the same show without Seth wanting to get his get back?
You just got to add members to the group, but it's hard to do that now that you just eliminated the figurehead, which is Paul Heyman. So it's like, I don't know how you're gonna get new members in there, and then it feels like it's not special at that point, right? Because it's like, damn, y'all just keep adding new members. They ain't even did nothing yet.
At that point, it all you're doing all you're doing is adding new members to drag this story out until Braun or Bronson get back.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
Let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about Danhausen. So the box, for those of y'all that don't know, over the last few weeks between Raw and SmackDown, we've had the box, and let's just say that it was very underwhelming.
I tell y'all?
Yeah,
I told y'all no matter what it was that the wrestling world wasn't gonna like it.
There's nothing against Danhausen. That's the whole thing.
And this isn't a knock on Danhausen.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Like I said
I don't think people are mad at it of who it was. I think they just mad of, again, like, why did y'all go through all that trouble for?
But to be honest with you, the fans worked themselves up. Because if you look back at it, if you want this to be somebody that's serious, why have the past few weeks you've had R-Truth. When it comes to the segment with the box, you had R-Truth in there. You had Angel Garza and Humbert.
It would have been around some major stars.
Yeah. So it's like, as much as even I would have liked it to be, or something, necessarily Chris Jericho, but something more made. But, now that, in hindsight it's 2020, but looking back, they already had signed at the time around what type of person that box. And like I said, it's not on Danhausen. Before we recorded, I told you, Danhausen is one of those people within the plays it perfectly. Did we need to have that whole unveil for Danhausen? Like we said earlier, no. You could have easily had what he did on Raw, maybe not necessarily with the list of demands and everything, or Demandhausens, should I say? You could have had him just pop up on Raw in a segment, and nobody would have been bashing it. Nobody would have been booing it, and it kind of almost would have played more into his character.
I think it's just how it was presented wasn't the way to go, because like you just said, and we talked about it before we started, the segment with him and Judgment Day last night was perfect. I was entertained by it, and then the ramifications from Danhausen putting the curse on Dom, we get to see a new IC champion. So now that's a great storyline for, Danhausen's introductory to WWE audiences, but also give kind of a break for Dom and the seriousness of his run and all this stuff. So it's not like I don't think it's going to be bad for Dom. I think it's going to be good for him in a way if they
I
go this
still think
route.
it leads to Finn Dom.
I mean, I
Like,
still
they're
think it does.
obviously still telling that story.
I still think it does too, but I think the overarching story with Danhausen will go further than Finn and Dom. I think Finn and Dom is going to be part of the curse. It's going to be
Yeah,
part
I
of
think, well, that's the
yeah.
whole thing with Danhausen. But the thing you have to learn with Danhausen is Danhausen's curse isn't like, now they could do something different. Not saying they can't. But the whole thing with Danhausen is sometimes his curses work, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
That's the whole part of his very, very good, very, very good, very evil thing, gimmick.
Okay.
So now, are they going to play into his curse more where, he,
It
at
actually
least
works.
for the time being, where it seems to anything that he curses, something happens. They could.
I mean, I
And
think that's
honestly,
more entertaining.
I
To
was
be
going to say
honest
they
with you.
probably should.
Yeah, that's more entertaining. Like, why would you have and I'm not, again, this is not no shot, but why would you have a character that your stick is putting curses on people, but they're ineffective? I'm not saying all of them are ineffective, but you know what I mean? Like, they should be potent. Like, you just did it yesterday. It's like, I curse you. Okay, now your whole life is jacked up.
What's it?
Should nothing go right for you until you set my body on fire. That's it. You gotta have an inferno match
You
with me.
are cursed.
That's it. That's it. But no, so that is going to be interesting. And then let's talk about the other half of the Judgment Day, where we know Rhea won the Elimination Chamber match, and last night on Raw, her and Io kind of split up in the way that we
I
predicted,
was
right?
at the other half of the Judgment Day.
Shit, I forgot.
Just
But yeah,
asking. Like, you
I mean,
confused me because you said the
yeah,
other half of Judgment Day. I
because
thought you were
I'm like,
pivoting to
I was
Live, and
getting
then
ready
you
to go
said
to
Rhea.
Live, and
I
then
mean,
I
I
said,
get where your mind was,
yeah, but no. But no,
but yeah,
so let's go. All right, so that's fine. Let's go Rhea first because she won the chamber. Because we didn't even talk about the chambers. Rhea, yeah, she won the chamber. Io and her basically did exactly what we talked about, which is they broke up, but there was no like turn or anything like that. It was more like, all right, you hold it down on Raw, I'm gonna hold it down
I'm
on
gonna go to Smack.
SmackDown, and we just gonna split up, which I think was perfect for both of their characters anyway. So
We were talking while the chamber was going on, and it had been like our first time talking since like at least SmackDown ended. And I had told you while the match was going on, it's like I can now see Rhea winning. My whole thing with Rhea not winning I always said she could win it, and anybody that wants to fact check and go back on
she just
previous
had the
episodes,
titles.
I was like, the only hiccup I had was they had the tag team titles. So when they lost the tag team titles on SmackDown,
That
I was
opened
kind of
everything
like,
up.
yeah, I kind of sat back and I'm like, all right, now I think Rhea might win this. And,
Yeah.
and I relayed that with you while we were watching. To be honest, I'm happy with the results. Some people may not be, but with who was in that match,
She
it
was the
was
obvious
really,
choice.
yeah, it was either Rhea or Tiffany.
Yeah, and you already know the IWC wasn't going for Tiffany.
Right. So it's
They would have
like,
rather seen Rhea in the match anyway.
well, yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about it, and I said on this podcast how a dream match of mine would be to see Rhea and Jade. I just didn't think we were gonna get there that soon because tag team champion. I thought they might try to give somebody else that shine, and well, at this time, we also thought Bianca was coming back.
right. I mean, so with this is, in my opinion, I think I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of people where the only problem they have with Rhea and Jade is the fact that Jade only has one title defense. That's really the only pushback that I'm hearing online is it's just the simple fact that it could be bigger than what it is if you actually establish Jade as a dominant,
As that bitch,
yeah, yeah,
as
because
she says.
she's just talking. You claiming a lot, but you ain't doing a whole lot, and that's not your fault. That's just the way they writing it. So but as far as the match itself, it's gonna be a banger match. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. As of right now, I got Rhea winning that. too. I think this
Yeah.
is a way to get, as we've talked about many times on this podcast, about Rhea needs to go to SmackDown. Like, she needs to get off of Raw and go to SmackDown. I think this is finally their what getting her over there.
So, but see now, what are they gonna do? I don't know, man. What are they gonna do on the Raw World's Championship side? So I know on Judgment Day you got Liv. She's gonna be fighting Stephanie. So like is Liv gonna win? Do you think she's gonna win? Do you think because Raquel lost the Elimination Chamber? Do you think she has any type of beef with Liv going forward? Or do you think it's just gonna play out where Liv maybe wins the title and then causes some dissension within? Or
As of right now, I still have Stephanie winning, but it is hard to see.
if Stephanie wins, how does that like what effects
That's why.
happen after that?
Well, that's why I said if Stephanie wins, it's hard to see some type of dissension within the judgment. Between Raquel and Liv in the Judgment Day.
That's if she wins clean.
But yeah, now
Yeah,
if
if she
if
get
now say like Raquel tries to like come down and help Liv and inadvertently cost her, obviously you could play off of that.
that's their
But
typical.
they should probably have and I hate to say this, but they should probably have Liv win and have it cause dissension between her and Raquel. And it eventually leads to, and I'm not saying Liv's going to win the title for long, but it eventually leads to Raquel taking the title off of Liv.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, as much as I had said before that it makes sense for Raquel to take it off of Stephanie to cause the dissension, this is
This is the best
Liv winning the
alternative.
championship. Liv, you said what?
I said this is the best alternative.
Yeah, well, not even alternative. I think this is better than that. If you have Liv win the title.
I mean, I think it depends how you get there, but yeah, I mean, it could be because again, like with Raquel, it's like it depends how you get there, bro. Because she's not. I don't want to say that, like because what happens? All right, Liv wins the title at WrestleMania. Now, how do you write it to get Raquel to take it off? Or like, how do you write her character now? Is my point, because like I don't think she's there. Like the way her character is right now is not going to take the title.
I think
you know what I mean?
I think there starts to be jealousy because you could easily play back into Raquel should be the champion if it wasn't for Liv. So now she can have doubts. She could be like, well, did Liv says it was inadvertent, but did Liv really, Liv really mean to just screw me? So she could, you could play into it. Now, is WWE probably going to do this? No, but you could play into it like that.
I was gonna say, do you wait even? Like, okay, let's say Liv wins, or let's say Liv wins the title, and as much as it's going to suck, you still have to play out what's going on with Finn and Dom. So if that happens at WrestleMania, you got to play that out and see it. So you could essentially wait, and then because Roxanne's hurt, so it's like you could essentially, like, I don't know if you're trying to weave her into it to make sure that she benefits. Because remember, a couple weeks ago, that was my whole thing. Like, if there is dissension in the Judgment Day on the women's side of it, Roxanne is going to pair up with Raquel because it's going to tear her allegiance. Okay, do I side with Liv? Do I side with Raquel? But if I know she's injured, so do they just say, all right, well, she's not part of the picture anymore, and this is how we're going to move? Or do you?
I mean, I guess it depends when she comes back. I don't,
Yeah,
I know it's not like it's not really injury. It's not really injury that she had. She had a benign tumor removed from her back, so it's not like it's like an injury that needs to. I mean, obviously needs to heal, but it's not like she broke her wrist, leg, whatever, and that needs to heal.
Right. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be interesting, bro. Like I said, I don't want her situation because she is talented, bro. It's like I don't want her to.
She's the one benefiting the most from the Judgment Day at the time.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I don't want her to be gone so long that she's no longer able to benefit from the group when they do make that move, because she's gonna benefit from it if she's there tremendously. So
I mean, if you're holding it off, you're gonna have to have some type of evolution of the Judgment Day in that same time frame, because obviously
this whole time is going to be playing on what we just talked about, which is the jealousy.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying of who makes up the Judgment Day.
Are you talking about bringing in like different superstars?
Not even bringing in different superstars, but it's so clearly obvious that Finn isn't going to be there. You have the dissension on the men's side. What nobody seems to, or we haven't even brought up is, what does JD do?
Honestly, I don't think anybody gives a shit about JD.
That I mean,
I
they give
don't.
him bobblehead
Because I'm
chance,
gonna
but
be,
it's like,
I'm gonna just keep it a buck, bro.
but and it's
Whoever's
not
a,
even so much what does he do as a single star. Like, does he side with Dom, or does he stay to the person that he's known for longer in Finn? And as it's being currently written, it seems like it would be him siding with Dom. But you're gonna have to have some evolution within the Judgment Day, as to who makes up the Judgment Day in that same meantime. If you're gonna hold off,
yeah. Like I mean, again, like it's a lot
if
to
Finn
jumble with,
leaves, they have
a lot for them to sift through. Bro.
what is it's like after Finn leaves, what is Dom's purpose within the Judgment Day? I've said this before. Dom is already grown on it.
Yeah, he has. No, unless Liv is in the group still, he's not going to be in the group. And really, we talked about this a few weeks ago too. Liv and Dom could go off on their own. If you wanted to keep the Judgment Day together or break them, it doesn't matter. They could go off on their own and still essentially be the Judgment Day because it's featured them two have been the two like most prominently featured characters. So it's not like you could just have them take it with them if you really wanted to.
But yeah, no, like I said, circling back. As of right now, I have Stephanie winning. But they'll taking it off of her.
You say you got Stephanie winning, but what?
I said this whole story could easily lead to Liv winning the title at Mania and Raquel taking it off of her.
Okay. Well, shit. What else we got? I mean, we can talk about the.
What you mean? What else we got?
I was getting ready to say, what about the IC title?
Oh yeah, we could talk about that. That wasn't what I was talking about though.
What? I mean, we could talk about Raw, but I was talking about from Elimination Chamber. Like, what else did we not cover?
If we're talking about the IC title, then we're not talking about Elimination Chamber because I was on Raw.
Did AJ won the title at Elimination Chamber?
Oh, that IC title. You got to be more specific.
Yeah, I mean that's why I was confused because I'm like, if we're talking about Elimination Chamber,
I mean, it was a shock to see AJ win. I didn't think she would win there. I mean, I get the sense it makes. They're in Chicago for her to win and have her, have that moment with her and CM Punk both with the titles. I just didn't think that. I don't know exactly where we go next for Mania. She said yesterday she was done with Becky. Now, is Becky done with her is another question. Probably not.
That ain't gonna happen.
But so it's like, I'm just trying to figure out what her direction is to Mania.
I mean, the final prediction I have for Elimination Chamber was Becky winning and AJ taking it off her at WrestleMania. But if what you say about her, AJ possibly having an extended run after WrestleMania, I mean, she could definitely still hold on to it after Mania. But if it's not going to be an extended run, Becky could take it back off of her. Well could.
Champion in her promo yesterday.
Oh, say again?
In her promo on Raw that she was going to be a fighting champion.
Oh, AJ said that?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. So I hope it is an extended run because if it is, that means she wins at Mania and then we get more classic matches later on in the year. And
I think they want at least some of them dream matches that us fans never thought we would see because we never thought AJ would come back.
Mm-hmm.
I would like, maybe not right. At some point I would like to see, like AJ and Rhea, but obviously with her going to SmackDown, that's not but you can have, matches with her in women's division on Raw right now.
I was thinking, right? It's like, as it pertains to Becky and AJ. So you said, like a few weeks ago, I know we was talking about Becky and how this might, is like her last contract, right? So what I think may happen is Becky somehow ends up winning one more world title. She wins the Universal or the I think she'll probably win the Universal because she's had the world title. But that's when AJ will beat her again. She'll beat her again. It's kind of just fucking.
And you just kind of have like a person that
one person that keeps
I could see that.
Yeah,
because I getting one world title reign.
That's what I'm getting ready to say. Like, if it's an extended run, I think AJ will finally get one world title, but it won't be. It's not going to be now. It's not going to be against anybody other than Becky Lynch, or like it has to be one of the top people. I would say it would be perfect for it to be Becky, especially if it's Becky's last contract. If you don't,
With the story that they're telling too on how Becky gets so flustered when it comes to AJ.
she gonna be back on her path. She gonna be back winning matches and doing all this. Here come light it up.
Yeah, right. And then she gets flustered again and she loses her title. Like,
Yep.
that would be interesting to see.
Yep.
We can pivot from there right into, so we have a new men's intercontinental title or champion. They finally gave my boy Penta something, because it's like I was kind of the thought, like, how many times do you have him, like, because I think it's like I know for a fact it's at least his second, but I want to say it's like his third time trying, competing for the Intercontinental title. So it's like, if you don't have him win here, what the fuck are we doing? And I liked the touch of, one, the Danhausen curse, and then two, Dom telling them that he wants to do it alone, and Finn after he asked for the hammer and JD was going to give it to him, Finn stopping JD from giving it to him. So that also plays into the feud between between Dom and Finn.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think the Danhausen and Dom overarching story is going to be interesting, because like you brought up, it's really, I think it's going to lead to him and Finn in the immediate, but I think over time it's eventually gonna cost Dom a bunch of stuff. Like maybe he has a hair versus hair match, he gets his hair shaven, or he has a match, or he gets embarrassed, or now he loses Liv, or because he got his hair shaven and he's bald, now Liv don't want to fuck with him no more. You know what I'm saying? He starts to lose. He loses the AAA title. All this stuff goes wrong, and then he has to go after Danhausen. He has to, because Danhausen's the one who screwed his life up. That's how I think it's gonna go. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong.
What do we do with Penta now for Mania?
I mean,
I like the thought of Penta and Javon.
I mean, that'd be nice, but I honestly would rather see a multi-man match.
I'm so tired of the fucking fuck that, bro. How many times do they do a multi-man match for the fucking mid-card titles, bro?
It's just traditional. It's traditional. You can present a lot more talent that way.
I mean, I get it, but it's like, really give them a proper a proper one-on-one match with it for a switch up. I feel like you said, it just happens like every year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to think about it.
If you want your multi-man matches, have each one of the tag teams champions fight multi-tag team.
Even the tornado, the multi-man tags, triple threat tag, whatever. Even that be like, all right, bro. But again, like, I get it, I understand, but I think it's just the easier way to showcase more talent. You got to, like,
and I get that they want to, I do understand that they want to get as much talent onto the WrestleMania card so that talent can get that WrestleMania check.
That's the whole thing.
I understand that. It's just,
and they have to do it somewhere, because your world title match this year is not a triple threat. Like last year we had Roman, Seth, and Punk, but now you ain't got that. You're both.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. But if our theory's correct, both, bless you. If our theory is correct, then both the world title matches will be singles matches. So, and then your women's matches are also singles matches. So it's not going to hurt the card to have.
No, not at all. I'm not saying it'll hurt the card. I just would like some
different shit. Well, I mean,
put onto the mid card.
The respect comes from what we talk about every week, which is just the mid card booking, bro. That's where the respect comes from, though. If Penta holds that title, makes it prestigious, beats big names, and is able to do it. Now, like you just said, you can't do it in a multi-man match. It doesn't help really build the credibility. But what you can do, if you have a multi-man match, you can have, Penta or whoever Penta pins is now his rival going forward for like the next few months or whatever. And then they have, and that has to be a bigger name, right? It's like, I don't know. I don't know, but it has to be, a bigger name. It can't just be Joe Smo. It can't be Danhausen. Bless you. But yeah, no, I do like Penta being the IC champ, but I don't know where they're gonna go with it. Let's pivot to What we didn't talk about Gunther and Dragon Lee.
What's there to talk about other than the fact that it shouldn't
It's
have even
stupid.
been that competitive of a match? We can leave it at that. I don't want to add anything. People know our.
Keep Gunther off TV. Next.
Thank you. I don't even want to dive into that. Let's get to what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, that pipe bomb, the promo.
Let's get to it because
All right,
we've
bro.
kept them waiting long enough.
Yeah, so
And it was a good back and forth, but boy,
when he said, "Bro, I'm gonna bury you next to your father," bro, I was like, "Are we sure this is PG? Can we show this? Is this is PG or is this TV for? What is this? I don't even know what is rated. Is this rated, bro? I'm gonna bury you and I'm gonna bury you next to your father."
and
Whoa.
I thought Roman had the bar when he said, "You ain't CM Punk, you're just a punk ass bitch." I was like,
damn,
bro, like, it's like how
and then
often
he called
within
him
a
a punk
rivalry,
bitch right after that.
yeah, like we got dead fathers, we got bitches, and plenty more, bro. This next 6 weeks is going to be cinema because Roman's not gonna let that slide.
I'm happy, bro. I'm just happy because I love to see this out of Roman, bro. I'm so happy because years ago it wasn't this, it was not this, and now, and even what was it, 2 weeks ago, where Punk and Roman had their first promo. You could see it on Punk's face that when Roman was hanging in there, mic on the mic, toe for toe, and Punk, you see him smile, bro, because it's like, all right, you've arrived. You've arrived. And so now I'm sitting there, I'm mesmerized. I'm like, oh, okay, he don't need Paul Heyman, he don't need Jay, he don't need Sammy, he don't need nobody. He good.
And dare I say, that one line from CM out pandemic Roman on the mic, the motherfucker that was real greedy on that motherfucker. And now we're getting a Larry reference.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
He's bringing age up.
Yeah,
it's just happen. In what matter does he bring it up? Like you already see like the subtle things that he's doing, and like he won't call him CM Punk. It's Phil. Like obviously to make it feel more personal.
I think for me, like the biggest, obviously it wasn't the best line, but it was the most memorable moment for me because it fits Roman's character so well, which is when he said to Punk, I don't think you understand that if you wasn't champion, I wouldn't even be worried about you. I'm only worried about you because you got what I
title.
want. Yeah, he said, dude, you would be nothing to me, bro. Why don't you go back down to NXT? Why don't you go down to NXT?
Yeah, told him he was gonna put him on the John Cena retirement tour.
Yeah,
and milk them for everything that they can. And then when they're done with that, they're gonna send them down to NXT to work with the new talent
and send them up to the tribal chief so I can
squash them. I'm like, God damn, Roman. That's why, like, a lot of people, they're like about that one line, and I'm like, if you look at the totality of that promo, it's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's just Punk. It's just Punk. Punk had the most memorable line,
bro, because that line was heat. It was heat, and
I'm not saying it wasn't.
And he had the last word. If I don't know. The last word is the most impactful. I get that, but his last word was the word of the night. Like, okay, yeah, you got that. Yeah, you got that, bro. No dispute.
Or how he told. Or what about when Roman told Punk? We brought you in to appeal to the 30 and 40-year-old virgins living in their mom and dad's basement. We didn't bring you in to be champion.
Yeah, bro, that's a bore too. But again, it fits his character so well, bro, because Roman doesn't, he's like, I need to be the champion. If it even came out on ESPN like 3 weeks ago, or probably about a month ago, it's like right before the Royal Rumble, where he was like, yeah,
I stepped out of the limelight. Nobody
gave
stepped
y'all all
up.
that time, and ain't none of y'all do nothing with it. I guess I got to come get it back. Lo and behold, it's basically true.
In defense of Roman,
it's basically true. Yeah,
I'm not saying he's lying.
I think it's funny though, because it's funny. I will say, coming from Roman, because Cena did the same thing to him back in the day when, they had that promo and Roman was trying to cut that promo and Cena was like, man, if you were good at your job, I wouldn't even be here. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah,
So, but
and
now
the
it's
same. Yeah,
fitting that Roman's he's in that position now. So now he's saying the same thing to the other guys. I'm like, man, it's full circle, bro. It's crazy.
yeah, I'm excited to see where we go now from here. That Roman Punk is the one, and I'm excited for other matches that are going to be on the card, but that's the one I'm looking for as what they wanted.
Hmm. I mean, I'm pretty
So
sure, like,
it's
no, I don't think anybody was really against the match from last year necessarily, the triple threat, but I think this is more in line with what people wanted from last year. They wanted Punk Roman,
yeah,
but they weren't mad
they
at having
wanted
Seth in it. It's like,
they
okay, if
want
you're gonna give
yeah,
me
they
Seth,
just
I'll
wanted
take
the
Seth.
one on one.
Yeah.
When it's a triple threat, it can sometimes get muddied
Hmm.
because somebody is gonna sometimes feel like the odd man.
Hmm. Yep.
And that's kind of why I think they had the whole thing go down at last WrestleMania with Paul Heyman aligning with Seth. Because in it, even though Seth was he champ? No, he wasn't champion. It was just a regular triple threat match. But he was kind of like the odd man out at that point. Because
But I
remember,
still think you're right, though. I think it's going to end up with Roman and Seth because
and
like
that's what, and that,
the next year's Mania.
after eliminate, yeah, because we were talking about, well, how long does he hold it? And you said like summer.
Hmm.
I can remember when you said it, and I was like, I can tell you right now, if Roman wins the title, he's holding it at least until next Mania.
Yeah, because like you said, Seth.
They're gonna want to get, they're gonna want to get Seth Roman. And like I told you, and I was like, and at that point, it's how do they want to book it? Do they want to continue to book it where Roman can't beat Seth when it matters the most, or are they gonna book it where Roman so really at that point solidifies himself as the,
Greatest of all time.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he can exercise one that he has.
I've beaten everybody. I've
Yeah,
literally
like
beaten
and it's
everybody.
not, and we're not saying that he's never beaten Seth, but obviously we're saying when it mattered the most, title on the line, he has never beaten Seth.
Yeah.
So it's like, which way do they want to go with it?
I think if Roman, like you said, I think it's kind of ironic too, because I think I brought up on the last week's podcast how Paul Heyman was talking about how you want to book manias in advance. And I'm just like, I think it's kind of ironic if they go with you had the triple threat last year between Seth, Punk, Roman. Now you got Punk, Roman, and then next year you're gonna do Seth, Roman, back to back to back main events. Like I get it, that is, I guess, kind of poetic, but that's kind of tough.
I just think it's like it's better to get they, because like I said, we were talking about it before, and I was like, I think a lot of people forgot that the original plan for this year wasn't Roman Punk. It was supposed to be Roman Seth. So that's why I said when obviously, Roman's going to win the title, and and at this point in both of their careers, for a title on the line, you're not doing that. You're not doing Roman Seth anywhere
But
but
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. And you even had rebutted me, well, what about SummerSlam? And I'm like, they're not going to, I was like, if that's going to be Brock's retirement match, they're not
They
going to
can't
do it
do
at
it.
SummerSlam because they're not going to overshadow Brock's retirement match.
Yeah, I mean, because outside of WrestleMania, like that's the only other place I can't even see it at Royal Rumble, bro. Like that's the only
No,
other place I could see
it's got
that match
it.
happening. And like you just laid out, if you're gonna have Brock's retirement on the card, or for that matter, any Legends retirement on the card, you're not gonna want to have Seth and Roman on that card. Not for the title.
Right.
That's got to be
Especially
the
like,
main event.
yeah, especially because it's going to be in Brock's hometown. Yeah, Brock's got a main event night two. And not going to night one Seth and Roman.
No, no. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's how it's gonna play out. Trying to think what else do we have to tap into? I know we can really quickly go ahead and kind of talk about what we got upcoming as far as this week on SmackDown. I know, like I talked about earlier, we got the face off with Rhea and Jade. I'm telling you, like I expect it to be entertaining. I expect it to be a good match at WrestleMania. I do want to see how they build it. Rhea is obviously the face, right?
Uh,
But I do kind of want to see how the week to week program goes. What else do we have this week? There was another. Oh, we got the Universal Championship match.
Yep,
Cody,
go say
Cody and
like I
Drew.
said earlier, Cody and
Yeah.
Drew.
So if Cody wins, we talked about that. If Cody wins, we're thinking that it's going to end up being Randy Cody. But
That's
I think it depends too, because like you said, like I think it depends on if Jacob gets involved, and does Jacob's involvement cost Drew McIntyre? Because at that point, that's when you pivot to Drew, Jacob, then you can go Randy, Cody,
well.
or you
This
can
is
even have Sammy
remember what I
here.
remember what I told you. Remember what I told you on Saturday. I'm like, you've noticed that after Cody and Jacob beefing, like they all three were kind of beefing together.
Mm-hmm.
That you really haven't had them interactions.
Right,
It's been both of them separately going after Drew.
right.
So that's kind of why I think they may be going in the one. They may have Cody win to have the 1v1 with Randy, because obviously, if you have come on with the current construction of the roster that you have, what two bigger matches can you get than having Cody Randy night one and having Roman Punk night two? It's both of them are matches that fans have been waiting years to see.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of another match with the current roster because I don't think nobody else is
Like
established enough yet.
Cody Drew,
Not really.
nobody wants to see. People would love to see Cody Jacob, but it's not the big money match that Cody
No.
Randy is.
No, Sammy wouldn't be
And
bad, but again, it's the money. It's the money. And
Cody
I think it's I
got
think
to
it's
be in the match.
I think it's ironic too, because and I'm not saying that this is definitely the case, and I'm not like trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing, and I'm happy that they always do it or always seem to do it. But it seems like whenever the company is kind of unsure about the main event picture, about the world title, they always throw Randy in it somehow, and because they know they can trust him. They know if I
They know
put
they
Randy
can
in this
trust him,
position.
and he's got the name recognition value.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, we're scrambling right now. Throw Randy in it. We'll be good. It works, bro. I mean, I think about this situation almost like the whole Daniel Bryan authority stuff again. Like you took it off Daniel, and then you had Randy come out. Then you had him be the champion for a while. Then you realize, crap, the crowd wants Daniel. Okay, Orton still had the belt, and he was able to put Daniel over even more than what he would have been initially because they knew they could trust him, bro. That title wasn't going to anybody else. Even though Batista came back, I don't even think at that point in time they would have given it to Batista.
No, most definitely wouldn't have.
No, we'll see. So I think that's all we got for SmackDown. That's like confirmed, unless I'm missing something. Was there something else?
Not off the top of my head.
I think those are only two major things. Was there anything major for Raw next week that I know? I think there was something about Oba next week. Nothing too important.
Next week's Raw, they was gonna say, I don't think Braun comes back, Brock, excuse me, comes back for another like 2 weeks. So
yeah, I think he's week after next. All right, well, no, that's cool. I think we can end it there because I mean, unless you want to tap into something else.
No, I think we tapped into everything major that needs to be tapped into. Yo, YouTube, that's all for this week's episode of the Riding the Ropes podcast. If you like the content, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below your thoughts on the promo last night on Raw. I am Trav, here with my co-host Win, here to say we love y'all, appreciate all the love that y'all been showing us, and Win, got anything to add on?
If you guys like the content, weekly breakdowns, long-term storytelling breakdowns, everything WWE, consider subscribing, like, share. Anybody you guys know that would enjoy wrestling content. And been saying it for the last few weeks now, we are on the road to WrestleMania and it's getting more exciting week by week. So, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. We will tap in. It's been Riding the Ropes. Love y'all, bro. We out.